Friends, happy Wednesday. All right, let me get my laptop going and hopefully it'll be smoother this week. Gosh, it came right up. That's awesome. Let's hope that's a good sign. Um, let's see. I don't have volume. Oh, yeah, there I go. Okay. All right. So, welcome and hi, Debbie. First one on. Thanks for joining me. Um, All right, couple of announcements. The mini catalog, the current mini catalog, which has been an awesome catalog, so much good stuff in here, it's retiring at the end of June. And there is a last chance list out with sale prices. I'll post it again tomorrow. If you scroll back in my Facebook feed, you'll see it back, I think about last week. Everything that's highlighted here are 50% off items. There are a lot of sale items and not very much is gone yet. Anything on this list that's retiring is while supplies last, but not very much is gone yet. And there are a lot of 50% items, especially in the dyes. So make sure you check this out and consider any things that you might want that are going to be retiring from this catalog. There are some things carried over, and if you have a question of that, just check your new annual catalog to see if it was carried forward. But then the things that are retiring, check here for your discounts. So, all right. And what that means is that there's a new mini coming. All right. We were given this on the incentive trip. And if you're a current customer, you will receive this in the mail from me, or if you're local, you'll get it by delivery or pickup in mid to late July for August startup. And along with this, there's going to be a second celebration this year, so that's kind of exciting too. Okay, so only one other announcement. Just remember that the extra $25, the host special, extra $25 with a $250 order, brings your Stampin' Rewards with a $250 order to $50, $50 of free stuff. It doesn't have to be all you. If you'd like to get a group of friends together, I can assign you a host code, and then whoever is the host can reap those benefits. So that ends June 14th. Okay, let's get on to our project. I have one card tonight. We're going to spend our whole time on one card. It might even take longer than the 4 cards I showed last week. And by the way, if you're waiting for card pieces from last week, the Genial Gems, which are free with a $35 order in June, are on their way. So I'm waiting. It'll probably be early next week when I receive those, and then I'll get your card pieces out in the mail. Okay, so this is my card for tonight. You can see it's a center stair step card, and the inspiration for this, here it opens like so. Okay, this is this great new set, Measure of Love, that I've used here for the scale and the bowl of cherries and the greetings. And then the designer paper is from Pattern Party, which is a host special. You can buy it with host dollars if your order or group order gets to $150. But anyway, this is a fabulous standalone kind of stamp set in the annual catalog. What I was getting to, though, my inspiration for this card, it looks totally different, but this is a card that I got in the swap on the incentive trip that I just loved. And it's not a new card type. It's a card we've seen before, made different ways, but I think when you bring in the new product, it's so fun. This was by Bethany Barnard, and I have to say my girls loved this one too. As they were looking through the swaps. But anyway, I thought it would be fun to make this card type in this new Measure of Love set. And the reason it's going to take the whole time is because It's sort of an involved fold, so we'll go over the folding carefully, and we'll go over the stamping carefully because it's kind of intricate. I'm using 7 stamps to create this, and I just want to show you exactly how I do that to get it so neat. And I think we rarely see the actual stamping because I pre-make a lot of pieces, but this one warrants a good demonstration just to stamp this one piece. You'll see how fun that is. More stamping, more fun, right? Okay, so let's start first. Remember, there's 2 components to this that are a little bit tricky. The fun fold part and the cutting of the card base, and then the stamping. So let's do the fun fold first. And when you open this, as you can see, it kind of boils down to what I have here in Coastal Cabana. I should have highlighted this as a score. The dashed lines are scores. And then there are 2 cuts. Okay, so it's not terribly complicated. You have to be a little bit careful. I'm making it in Pool Party. It starts as a 5.5 by 8.5 inch base. And to cut it, we are going to, we need to cut a length of the card here between a distance 3.25 inch down from the back edge to 7.5 inches down. Okay, so we need to cut this whole length and then add some score lines. So this is 1 inch wide, so I'm just going to put the right edge of my card base at 1 inch, and then I'm going to take my blade down to 3.25 and start cutting there and cut to 7.5 inches. Okay, so I'm just watching the ruler here and the pointer on my blade. Okay, so I've made this cut and we need another one like it on the other side of the card. So I'm going to move this edge over to 1 inch on this side. And I left my blade here. It should still be at 7.5, yes. So I'm going to push it in here and then go up to 3.25. Okay, and that is how you make those cut lines. Now we need to score to it so that we can make that cool fold. And so let's start. Get the blade out of the way so we don't accidentally cut. Let's start right here at 3.25. So I've got the left edge here at 3.25, and I want to score from the edge of the card just to that cut line I made. So I'm watching, I'm going to score to 1, and then I'm going to come to the other side here. Let me turn this way and make this little score from 4.5 to 5.5. All right, and then I need a score line. This is actually at the center at 4.25 on the card, but only between the 2 cut lines. Okay, so I'm moving that edge over to 4.25 and putting my scoring blade down here at 4.5 where the cut line starts. And then I'm scoring up to 1 inch where the other cut line is. Okay, so we've made this score, and this score. Now we need these little guys down at the bottom. So if you go all the way down from this edge, 6.5 inches, that's where we find the next pair. So let me get my extension out and put that left edge at 6.5 inches and score from the edge to 1 inch, and then come down to 4.5 to 5.5 or the other edge. Okay, and then I'm coming down to 7.5 inches. Okay, we're in the last inch of the card. We're 1 inch from the opposite end, and going up 1 inch here, and then at the other end we're also doing another inch. All right, so you probably can't see it on the pool party, but basically this is what we have now. So I'm gonna get my bone folder, and we're going to kind of gently force these the way we want them. You can't really do it all at once in this case, but you can see it start to take that stair step shape. And what you want to do is burnish all of these really hard, because you want it to be able to stand up in the end. So you want really crisp folds. So I would say it just takes a little extra pressure when you're burnishing to make sure that will stand up. And I'm going to reach in here on the inside too of this one. And there we have the base. Okay, it's so cute. It's kind of hard to see from the angle, the overhead angle that you are. But it looks kind of cool and dimensional, so that would be a really cute card to display. Okay, so while we're at it, let's add those great pattern party pieces. We've got the buffalo check that measures, let's see, these are each 3 1/8 inch high, and then the buffalo check is 3 3/8 inches wide. So I'm going to put that there and put the side pieces on. And then that pool party strip is 7/8 by 5 3/8. All right, so just get these in place. And I'm going to open this up to put the side pieces in. They're a little bit weird. They'll be higher. They'll look higher than that original buffalo check piece, the center one. Okay, and then, yeah, like I said, the pool party piece, 7/8 by 5 3/8 along the bottom here. Okay, so there's actually not much more to the card. We just have to make this great focal point. And let me burnish that hard again and get a weight on that to get those pieces to dry. Okay, I'm going to set that off to the side. So not that hard, right, to make that cool shape. So now we're going to stamp this focal point. And if you can see in the stamp set, I'm using 7 stamps. And this is a photopolymer set, so they're clear. But I would say, even on my best day, the chances of me stamping this really perfectly and lined up is, you know, not very good. So, oh, I'm not seeing comments, guys. Sorry, let me see if I can bring them up. I don't know why I'm not seeing comments tonight. So, shoot, I'll have to look at them later. I only see the original "Hi, Chris" from Debbie. Okay, so like I'm saying, hard to get 7 in a row perfect, right? This is really a job for the Stamparatus. All right, so I'm going to tell you some tricks as to how I did this. Here, let me pull in. I have one that's just that piece stamped. I'll put my sample off to the side. And let's get going on the stamping. Okay, so I want to stamp on a label shape, and if you like to do that, my best recommendation is save the negative from the first die cut you make and use that as a positioner here. I actually have this taped down to the grid paper, which I can push right up into the corner, so I know this is always going to land in the same place. And I'm going to set my stamps according to this position, okay? And I've got this taped down So I can bring in, here's a blank label. So I can make these, I can make multiples of these quite easily. And I'm putting that label shape. This is from Scalloped Contours in position here. And I have it set, well, I have some of the sets, some of the stamps set. Okay, my design uses 7 stamps. And normally when you think of the Stamparatus, you think of it as having 2 plates, so 4 different sides for your stamps for placement. Okay, I've placed the obvious first stamps that we need to make this. So let's get started, and then I'll place the ones that, you know, once we get above four sides. I'll show you what we can do. Okay, so I've got the scale set up here, and I just want to make sure those feet are really inky. If they're not, I can go over it, which is a nice feature, of course, of the Stamparatus too. Okay, so let me get that scale in position, and that's okay if that pops out. You could put it down with repositionable adhesive, but since we have a great guide, we can just keep putting our stamp back in there. I'd like those feet just a little darker, so I'm going to add a little ink down there. Okay, so on the back of this plate, I have already set the bowl outline and the dial, and these are both black, so I put them together. They're far enough apart, and you can see them over here, that I can ink them separately. I couldn't put them on with the scale because I wouldn't have been able to put that bowl stamp close enough to the scale. I couldn't put the dial like right in the center of the scale. So I've got them both together here, and so I've got my black parts stamped. Okay, now also very obvious, I have some stamps set to start coloring in the bowl here. So we've got the bowl in Pool Party. And again, I'm just making sure my paper is always pushed up into the corner so that everything's going to line up nicely. And there's the bowl. And I maybe should have gotten some adhesive, but anyway, you can see how nicely that nests right into the negative shape, so you can always put it back into place. Okay, and I've got the hearts lined up there too, and I'm doing them in Fresh Freesia. Oh, guys, I wish I could see the comments. I hope you help each other if you have questions. I will look later. Okay, so now I've got the bowl and the hearts. So I've done 5 stamps actually, because I was able to do 2 black ones together. All right, so it took me a little while to get those positioned right, so I didn't want to waste your time on that. But now, what do you do? We've used all 4 sides of the plates, but I have 2 stamps left. And I'm assuming you don't have more plates. I actually have more plates, but I want to do it with 2 plates. So you notice that there is some area left on both plates, in here and in here, that maybe we can make use of. And if you change the location of the plates now and check where they will stamp, you can see that, okay, the hearts now are no longer in the way of where we need to stamp the cherries, okay? But that's kind of close. So let's see how the other one is now that we've moved it. Oh, very easily we could place the cherries up here, out of the way of the bowl, or the scale. Here, let me turn that over. Let's put the cherries on the scale side. And so let me just grab this is a clean stamp with the cherries. And I'm going to hopefully, okay, so you're going to probably see my head come in because I have to get this lined up right over the bowl. This may not be as perfect as the other one. If it's not, I would continue to adjust it until I'm happy. Okay, but I've got the cherries lined up just above the bowl now. I think that's good. And I'm going to pick that up with the plate. Now, every time I use this plate now, since I haven't cleaned these stamps, I have to be careful that the scale isn't going to make another impression where I don't want it. Okay, so here's what I'm doing. I'm just picking up the stamp there. And I'm going to ink. It's far enough away that it's far enough away from the scale that I can get to those cherries only and ink them up in red. So I've got the real red here. And, oh, what did I say? You have to always mask. Okay, so this is tricky, and I say that because I messed up a bunch of these today. You have to think at every step. So if you're ready to stamp, first of all, make sure you're inking the right stamp, and then make sure you're masking if you have another stamp on that same plate. Okay, so there we have the cherries now in the bowl. And similarly, we're gonna flip this now because, you know, we don't have room to put the stems there. But if we flip it again, we can put the stems on the bowl side. All right, so I have the cherry stems. And here comes my head again to line these up. All right, that looks pretty good. Again, watch your dirty stamps or clean them. I guess that's an option. I usually don't clean everything until the end. Okay, and again, I'm just inking the stems there. There's a bowl hanging out there, but I'm not going to ink that in green. And then I'm going to mask this so that the bowl doesn't stamp on my scale. Okay, so there I have my perfectly inked 7 stamp arrangement. Okay, so you could make many of those once you have this all set. Just remember, every time you have 2 colors on the same plate, you're masking the one that you don't want to print and inking only the one that you do want to print. Okay, so that gets a little tricky, and I did, like I said, I mean, it took a couple of tries before I got comfortable with that. And you know, it's not that big a deal. Here, one of my, let me see, probably have one of my mistakes here. See, I brought down probably the green stems and I had a bowl that I didn't mask. Okay, so just be careful, or clean those stamps. That's an option too. Okay, so back to this now. We're almost done with this. Gosh, sorry I can't see the comments. I might go out of this on Facebook just for a second and come back in to see if I can get comments. Something's been a little bit funny with Facebook the last 2 weeks. So let me see. Oh, okay. I see him. Okay, I see him now too. Huh, that's funny. Okay, great. Thanks, guys. Thanks for the nice comments. Okay, so let's finish up here. We're going to actually just color this in real quick. I've got the Stampin' Blends. I'm going to do light smoky slate on the tray here for the scale. Now, the great thing about the blends, if you haven't tried them, you don't see the brush stroke marks because those kind of blend in with each other. Ooh, I colored out of the lines there a bit. So I have my color lifter. It's actually more of a color pusher. See how my gray is out of the line there? If I color up against it, that will kind of push that color back inside the line there. All right. And see what a nice crisp effect you get from coloring with these. Now I need to slow down and do this carefully so I don't make a mess of this. This is the light fresh freesia, so that goes with the hearts that I stamped on the bowl. And these are the parts I usually, I guess, take the time to do ahead of time, but I definitely wanted to illustrate this stamping and the use of your Stamparatus. It is an awesome tool, especially if you like these multi-step stamp sets that have a lot of builder parts to put together. And, you know, it could be frustrating. I think even if I got 7 stamps right once, I probably couldn't do it more than once, you know, so it's nice when you have them all positioned and you can just stamp out a bunch of these then. Clean the stamps, change the colors, make as many as you want at a time. Okay, so there I colored into that circle too, so I'm just going to kind of go over that and push that fresh freesia back where it belongs. Okay, so super cute little scale, and it'll all dry pretty evenly. Now let's bring in our card base that we worked so hard on. Okay, and I'm just going to get some dimensionals and pop it up. Yeah, I just love this stamp set. I think you guys will like it. And my upline, Mindy, I don't know if you're on here, Mindy, made a super cute card where she put some of the little peaches up on the scale. Oh my gosh, adorable. There's just a lot of things like that you could do. All right, so I'm going to pop that up here in the center. And then the greeting is actually from that same stamp set, Measure of Love. Let me get the real red ink. And I've got a little bit of Pool Party cardstock. Sweet Friend. And while I'm at it, I'll stamp the inside, which the inside dimension is 3 by 5 1/4. It's a little bit weird, right? Because there's something in the way there. So the inner greeting, our friendship tips the scale. It's really cute. All right. And I've got the oval, the double oval punch for my sweet friend here. And I'll just put up a dimensional over on the side for it as well. And I was kind of debating both of these, both this black and white twine and this red and white ribbon, I thought from the Playful Pets trim pack would be good. So let me do on this one the red and white ribbon that I've tied a bow already. See if we like one or the other better. Yeah, that's cute too, I think. All right, and then on the inside, of course, we can just add this greeting. So only one card today, but a lot of detail about how to get through it and some encouragement to pull out those Stamparatuses, because look at that result that you get compared to trying to line up every one of those pieces itself. I think it's definitely worth the little setup time. All right, well, that's all I've got today. Again, if you're shopping, I've got the Genial Gems for you with a $35 order in June, and if you have a group to get together for that $250 order, that special is through the 14th, and you'll get you'll get $50 in free product, whoever is the host. So keep that in mind. Other than that, check out, and I'll post it again tomorrow, that retiring list, the last chance products with the sale prices, and have a good week. I think my comments stopped coming through again, so really appreciate you guys. Thanks for joining me, and I will hopefully be able to see the comments after the fact. All right, guys. I do see the hearts and the thumbs up. Thank you so much. All right. Have a great week.